Ladies and gentlemen, there we have it. Bitcoin moments ago hit brand new all-time highs. This is on the Coinbase chart, but across almost every single exchange that I can find, Bitcoin did cross the threshold. You can see, even though I literally said at the time of making this video, we had just crossed all-time high, we are starting here on the hourly candle to drop back down. We're back below 68,000, and that's kind of even already getting into the point of this video. We're first of all going to celebrate because new all-time highs for Bitcoin do not happen every single day. This is going to be the most bullish bull market of all time for Bitcoin. We have made predictions earlier on in this channel about how high Bitcoin could get, but that was before we knew we would see new all-time highs before the halving. I'm going to have to make a video probably sometime next week updating my futuristic Bitcoin price prediction, but today is the day to celebrate and focus what could be happening next for the price of Bitcoin. Go ahead and strap on in. Not going to be a long video. I've mentioned some of this in previous live streams, but let's go ahead and dive back onto the chart and talk about what this means. Now, again, volatility is to be expected. You can see even here on the daily chart, we currently have a high on the day of 69,324. That's good enough for your all-time high. But we also have a low all the way down at 65,128. I'm going to tell you guys right now, if you don't have the stomach for volatility, get out right now because it's about to get real. Do not be surprised, ladies and gentlemen, to see Bitcoin have some wrestling around this territory. Why? Well, even though we just barely touched our new all-time high, let's go back and look historically what actually happened. We have to go to a different chart here and look at an exchange that kind of takes into account all the exchanges. It takes an average price. Historically, oh, hit the wrong one there. That was total market cap. Historically, when Bitcoin gets to / gets close to previous all-time highs, it has some volatility. This is back in December, November of 2020. November, December 2020. You can see here the previous all-time high was set back in December of 2017, somewhere right below $20,000. And you can see in November, we got close to those same levels, had a big pullback. Let's see what percentage this pullback was. A nice little healthy 16.5% pullback. Went back up to the same level, got a little higher, had another pullback before finally breaking through that level. Ultimately, we had some pretty good volatility. Once we got close to that level, we didn't quite touch the new all-time high, but when we got close to that level, you can see we actually had to wait a couple of weeks before actually breaking the all-time high. We had to wait about 3 weeks. So 3 weeks of choppy sideways volatility. Then we broke through, and within the next 20-something days, we doubled in price. Are we going to do that again? That would be pretty insane. However, when we go back and we look at the previous time before that, let's go back over here all the way back to March of 2017. Now, we'd set an all-time high around $1,244 in November of 2013. We did break, briefly setting new all-time high, but take a look here. After barely breaking that all-time high, we had Bitcoin drop. Let's see what this percentage is. Going to be greater than 16.5 for sure, about 32%. Are we saying we're going to hit that perfectly? Not necessarily, but once again, once they flirted with these same levels, let's take a look here. Flirting with the previous all-time high right here on March 3rd, 2017. I got to grab the tool correctly here. We had a wrestling of about 54 days before we confidently broke back through that all-time high and went on to skyrocket to the upside. Again, maybe this time we didn't do it in 21 days, but we got pretty stinking close with how explosive the price of Bitcoin got. And you guys can see literally within the next couple of months, the price of Bitcoin not only doubled, it tripled from its previous all-time high. So there's a couple takeaways that we're looking at right here when we're seeing the Bitcoin price at new all-time highs. Takeaway number one, do not be surprised to see some sideways volatility for the next couple of weeks. There's going to be a lot of people, remember, that purchased back here somewhere around November of 2021. Maybe they purchased early in January of 2022. And these people are just excited to get back to the prices that they bought at. There's going to be some of those people who look to take profits and run away. There's going to be institutions and smart investors that understand it's very hard to break through a previous all-time high confidently and just skyrocket to the upside. you're going to see several people taking profits, waiting for a lower dip, whether that's simply a 16% pullback like we had back in 2020, which would bring the price of Bitcoin back to about $58,000. Could it be more like a 30% pullback? We're talking about what it did in 2017. Now we're talking about $48,000 back around that golden pocket area that did work as short-term resistance back in January. I can't tell you with confidence how far, but I can tell you that more than likely, volatility and sideways action for the next couple of weeks is something to be expecting. But the next thing, and this is the more bullish one, is look for explosive price action to happen. This green line right here, this vertical line, is representing the date that we are expecting for Bitcoin having to happen, April 18th. Currently, let's look at the chart right here and see how many days we are. We still have more than a month until we get there. In fact, we have about, if I can get this right, 44 days. 44 days until we get to the halving event. Now, I'm going to expect that we're going to break a pattern I think we're going to have consistency here, actually. Sorry, not break pattern. I'm going to go ahead and predict that we are going to go ahead and start moving sideways somewhat into the halving. I'm not saying we can't get a little bit higher. Maybe we get up and get to 75,000. That's a level that a lot of people have discussed. When you start getting to price discovery mode, it's really hard to give numbers. In fact, the only thing I can really tell you is based off Fibonacci, the next significant level in money discovery is going to be Fibonacci extension up here around $81,500. That's the next level of significance here. If you were to draw a trend line from the previous bull market, you're going to see the price goes even higher than that. It's going to put us closer to the category of about $90,000. But my estimation is we hesitate here for a little bit of time. We trade sideways into that halving event. And then when we finally break the all-time high with confidence, look for a matter of a month or less to have explosive price action. I think asking for a 2x is a little much. I made that video yesterday kind of exploring that that's historically what happens. $140,000, as much as I would love to see it, let's be realistic here. I think that's a little out of touch. But to say that we could make it to $90,000 to $100,000 is not really asking that much. In fact, the significant level we're looking at here on Fibonacci extension would be the Fibonacci golden pocket to extension, sitting right here at about $102,000. That, from where we currently are, would be a nice little gain here of about 50%. You love to see it. But do not be surprised to see a small pullback happen even right here. Not telling you, by the way, to take your profits and try to buy lower levels. I'm saying if you have some dollars on the sideline, don't buy in now that we just touched all-time high. Wait for a 10% pullback at the least, because guess what? Like we've seen this morning, the volatility is already here, and it is here to stay. This was just the beginning of it, dropping $4,000 this morning. That more than likely will happen again. Would not be surprised, as I told you, to at least come back down to $60,000 closer. Let's see what the levels were again. I forgot the numbers. I think it was 53. Let's see, 10%. Like 10% is 61. 16%, we're talking about 57 once again. And again, do not rule out 30% moves to the downside, especially after hitting a major milestone. We could see $48,000 once again for a normal, healthy, bullish pullback during a bull market. But I've been wrong about things before, and I can guarantee you I'm going to be wrong about things in the future. Tell me what you guys think. Now that Bitcoin has officially set a new all-time high, is it nothing but up and to the right today? Do you agree with me that we'll have sideways, boring price action, potentially even for the next month and a half? What are your predictions? Leave those down below. Before I let you go in this video, because it was shorter, I want you guys to keep your eyes on a couple of coins that are popping off at the moment that definitely have room to the upside. For example, Optimism right now. Even though Bitcoin is the talk of the town, Optimism is quietly up 10% today, and that's not even taking into account that it rallied this morning all the way up to $4.59. Why am I talking about this? Well, not only did Optimism set its own new all-time high today, check out the formations that we have going on. Remember, I told you the Fibonacci golden pocket extension is key. That's coming in perfect confirmation right here with a $5.32 level for Optimism. That is a rising level of resistance. After breaking this white dotted line and breaking back above it here just a couple of weeks ago, I told you guys keep an eye on this price. And now that we have major bullish price action, you could easily see profits from Bitcoin. People that have been riding Bitcoin all the way from that 15.5, taking profits at former all-time high, rolling those into very good-looking coins like Optimism. I do believe another one would be Caspa. Caspa at the moment is working on breaking out of its own bull flag pattern. You guys can see the yellow lines here. We have a falling trading channel, but that is attached to a vertical flagpole that if I move this over to the linear chart and I make a breakout price prediction, we could see Caspa jump from where it currently is around 16 cents as high as 24.5 cents. These are two coins I'm absolutely looking at. There's a lot more. I just wanted to point those two out, having fantastic days and are primed to have even better days. With that said, though, that's all I have for you guys in this video. Let's celebrate today. Go do something special. If you have been riding this entire bear market and hoping and waiting and praying for these new all-time highs for Bitcoin, your prayers have been answered. We are back. This is going to be an amazing ride for the next year and a half. Cannot wait to take it with you. Make sure you smash that like button. Hit subscribe for everything about crypto here on Investing Bros. With that said, though, guys, I'll see you today on the live show at 3 p.m. Adios.